Deuces here, another action figure review, and I have a really cool one for you. It is the uh, Play Arts Kai Square Enix Watchmen Rorschach figure. Aside from probably my Transformers Masterpiece figures, this is my first sort of premium action figure I've ever really gotten. Um, Rorschach's probably my favorite character in The Watchmen, and he's probably one of my favorite superhero characters just ever. I just really like the character. And I saw this figure in the comic store. I've seen it there for a little while, and well, maybe I shouldn't have pulled the trigger on it. Spent the money on it. I decided to because it looks just like such a good Rorschach figure. It might be the best Rorschach figure you can currently get out there. So that's really cool. I've never gotten a Play Arts Kai figure before. I did some research, looked up some reviews before I bought this figure just to make sure it was pretty good, and it definitely seems like awesome. It just definitely seems awesome. So we're gonna take a look at the packaging first. He comes with this pretty big box, and even the box is pretty premium. You've got the Watchmen logo there. Well, it's hard to see on the camera here in silver. You do have the Play Arts Kai action figure logo there. Rorschach and the Chinese lettering, because this is a import. I believe these are import figures. Oh, they have to be. You got the Watchmen on the side there. On the back here you have multiple images of the figure, which is really cool. All the Chinese, Japanese, whatever stuff there. Excellent. And you even got some cool stuff going on the side as well. And on top, you've got Watchmen and all that jazz, which looks really cool. There is a Velcro panel here you can actually open up, and you can get the fully displayed figure there. This is really difficult to do because I don't have a whole lot of room here. But here we go. So you got the window box, which displays the accessories in the figure. It has an image of Rorschach says behind you there with the symbol. It looks really cool. I really like that. It looks awesome. And you have a really cool image of the figure. Some art there, and you have multiple write-ups, which I'm not going to read because that'd take friggin' 10 minutes, the whole video all on its own. But that's really cool. So even the packaging is really impressive and really conveys that this is a premium action figure. So I'm going to get him out of the packaging, and we'll take a closer look at the figure. Alright, now we have the Play Arts Kai Rorschach out of the packaging, and this is a really cool figure. I'm really liking this figure a lot. There's a lot going on that's really awesome that I'm going to go through with and show you guys. Definitely not 100% perfect, like figures rarely are. But this guy really is a home run. Just such a really awesome figure. I'm really happy to have it. So we'll take a look at his sculpt in detail first. See it focus here. There we go. So going on the head sculpt, I really like the head sculpt. The hat looks really nice. It has a nice sculpt. It's painted in a light leathery brown. It has like this black wash to give it a worn look. It's really cool. You got the band painted a dark purple with, again, that black wash applied, which is awesome. He has his mask, which is really cool. Have this really awesome black design on there. And what I really love is that it's not just a plain white head sculpted. They actually sculpted in his ears and the crease lines of the fabric, which makes it look like he's actually wearing a mask, which is really cool. And they gave it a black wash to boot to give it a really cool look. You got the scarf sculpted on there, and then you have the jacket, which is really nicely sculpted with a dark brown with a black wash. I love how the collar looks and how it goes around his head. That looks really cool. The shoulder epaulets there, you got this one sculpted with the button, and this one's not, so that's accurate and looks really cool. Just the sheer detail of the jacket and the clothing and all the wrinkles and sculpted detail of the clothing just looks phenomenal. And the black wash just brings all that detail out a lot more. You got buttons sculpted and painted. You got his gloves, which are painted purple. You've got the belt tie there, which is really nicely sculpted, and it is on a rotating swivel. So if you want, you can have it just dangling there. If you want to make it look like it's swaying in the wind, you can angle it out a bit, which looks really cool. You got the button sculpted, and it looks awesome. The lower part of the jacket is really cool. It's sculpted to be sort of waving around in the wind. It looks really nice. And made of a pliable material, relatively. It's a little less pliable at the top, but at the bottom it moves. It's got his pinstripe purple pants that look really good. Again, some awesome paint, and the sculpting looks really nice, especially around the boots. You got the creases look really nice, and the articulation relatively well hidden considering the joints. And you got the shoes that also look really good. They have that nice worn leather look with the brown and the black wash. You got the black painted, or the grayish painted soles that look really nice. Just such a stunning looking figure. My camera really isn't doing it justice because my lighting and everything's just not the best, but it's really stunning looking figure. The proportions look all really good. I have nothing wrong with the proportions. In terms of the joints, some of the joints are a little ugly, like the elbow joints. It depends on how you have them. If you have them bent in a lot or whatever, then they're not too bad. But like this, the elbow joints are pretty obvious. The knee joints can be obvious, but it's not too bad. And if you move the forward part too far back, you can't actually see underneath there and the gappage there, which kind of sucks, but not a huge issue. Now set them down here. Put my camera down. And I'll just go through the articulation he has going on. So he has a ball joint at the head, but because of the collar and everything going on, he has only a little bit of down movement and only a little bit of up movement. A bit of the pivot's nice though, and the swivel is good, works good, so that is nice. He also has this upper joint right here, which moves with the upper part of his jacket, and it can look up a bit more and go forward a bit more, so you can get him looking a bit more like that. He has ball joints in the shoulders, which that one just popped off. But if you move them up, you can get them to about 90 degrees. They also, because they're on the way the ball joint works, you can also get a bit of butterfly movement going in. You can move them in a little bit, move them back a little bit, which is nice. I mean, it's a swivel at the bicep, a ball hinge at the elbow, and he has a ball joint at the wrist, as well as a swivel. He has a swivel torso as well as a diaphragm ball joint there too, which moves decently considering the coat. Ball hinges at the legs, so he can move out about this much. He is a bit hindered because of the coat, which is probably his one downside factor. Rorschach's articulation is still, in my opinion, pretty good, but there are some things about it, like the leg articulation isn't going to be as good as maybe some people want it to be. It doesn't bother me too much because everything else is just so great about this figure, but for some people that might be a problem. It has that nice ratchet joint. And his hat just went flying, and okay. So you can't move him that far up. That does not work. And we're going to get into why that pops off later. I didn't break it. It's supposed to do that. I'll get into why it does that soon. Just gonna fix this real quick, lol. Yeah, so that happened. But anyways, so you can't force them that far out, but you can move his legs about that far out with the coat, which isn't terrible at all, especially considering some other figures who probably couldn't do that. He has a rotation there. Yeah, he has a rotation. He has double hinges at the knees, which move pretty good. And he has a ball hinge at the ankle, which also has a bit of a rocker kind of joint. And he has that one doesn't want to move, and I don't want to force it, but and he also has a toe pivot, which is pretty cool. So yeah, articulation is pretty good. Maybe lacking for some people. I don't mind it. Some people might. That's just up to the person, honestly. But now we get on to probably one of the best parts about this figure, accessories. He comes with a ton of accessories, which is really, really cool. So first, I guess, just behind him here, you do get that standard Play Arts Kai stand. You got the clear bottom, which says Play Arts Kai. You got the adjustable thing here, and these things can clamp in. And actually very useful for posing the figures. That gives them support so you can have them displayed and you don't have to worry about them falling down, especially when it's a figure that's as expensive as these guys can be. Not like these feel like fragile figures, because quite on the contrary, he is a very solid figure, but even still wouldn't want him to break. But yeah, anyways, on to accessories. So first off, you can actually remove his hat. So that's cool that you can actually do that. There is a point to that, and that's because he comes with 2 alternate heads, all both masked. It's just so you can get different designs of his Rorschach mask, because I'm sure if you're aware of the character, his design changes on just randomly on his mask. So you get multiple heads, and I'll show you that. You get 2 other alternate heads. You get this one here, which is honestly probably my least favorite, but still looks pretty cool. My favorite is the one that's on him right now. I think that looks the coolest. And you also get this one. And they all have the same sculpt, but they're all nicely sculpted and painted. And you get 2, so that's really awesome that they actually did that. You get 2 of those. He also comes with a ton of hands. So he comes with this hand here, which has the spray can that he uses for his improvised flamethrower. The can's painted purple. It's glued in there, but that's okay because it's meant for holding this. It has the finger on the button there, which is really cool. And the sculpt paint looks really nice. One thing I'll note is interchanging the hands is really nice because they stick in securely, but they're not hard to pull out or anything, which I really love that they do that. They come out smoothly, but they also stay in securely, which I really like. He also comes with a pair of open hands. This one can be used to hold his journal accessory, which I will show, and this one is used to hold his grapple gun accessory because it has sort of a trigger finger. So that's what those are kind of used for, but they all are also just kind of generic open hands, so that's cool. You get this hand, which is mainly used for holding some of the other accessories, which I'll show off. But yeah, you get that hand. And you get this hand here, which is specifically for holding the rose accessory that he comes with, which I will again show you momentarily. Actually, since we have this one, we might as well just show the rose accessory. He comes with this itty bitty tiny rose, which has some really nice paint apps. You got red and green. Actually, like a lighter red underneath the dark red, and it looks really, really cool. Basically, you take this hand here, and this hand's meant for holding the rose, so you can just sit in there, and it doesn't really stick in securely. It just sort of sits in the hand. So I would be really careful about this accessory because you could lose it easily. Because this hand's just not holding it overly securely. And I guess if you stick it in there far enough, it will actually. So never mind. But still, you're gonna want to be careful. This hand is meant for holding the rose. So I actually honestly don't know why I didn't just glue it in like they did with the spray can. Then you get these 2 accessories. You get the matches with this flame effect here, which is really cool. The matches are, sculpted nicely. They have the creases of wood and whatnot, which is cool. And the flames look nice. Got yellow with a little bit of black on the bottom and a bit of orange on the top. And it's sculpted in translucent plastic, which is really cool. And you can just take this hand here and he can hold it like that. So that works out pretty cool. He also comes with another one, which is actually the flames actually shooting out like so, and you can use that in conjunction with the spray can hand and get it posed so it looks like it's spewing out. So that's really, really cool. They include that accessory, or these bit of accessories. That's really, really cool. Another really cool accessory. He comes with his journal, which is pretty important in the story, so it makes sense to include it, but it is really cool that they did. It's really small, but it has some really good sculpting work. Nice brown paint with some black wash. You got just the wrinkles and creases of a worn book. You got a little light brown painted sculpted band that's holding it together. It's hard to see and hard to show on camera, but it does say journal 1984-1985. Is really cool and has some sculpted in cup creases or coffee creases, or stains, sorry, which is really, really cool. And you can hold that with one of the open hands. You can just kind of wedge it in between his forefinger and his thumb, and he holds it relatively naturally and relatively securely. So that's cool. And then this accessory is also another really cool one. He comes with his grapple gun, nicely sculpted. It's got that purple sort of handle, silver paint apps with this bronzish paint apps on the go as well. The sculpt's really nice. He has a little symbol on the handle here, which I'm not sure if it's going to want to focus, being a pain in the ass. There we go. So that looks really cool. Like that. Got this one, the little grapple thing. What's cool is you can actually take that out, and he comes with a sort of I guess engaged one, like he's about to fire it, so you can pose it like that, which is also really awesome. Didn't really have to include this, but they did anyways, which is awesome. And the last accessory, which is my favorite, and the reason why the Rorschach split in half like that, is he comes with an extra, an alternate bottom to his jacket. He comes with this, which is actually slightly more open and waving in the wind, and it comes with 2 slots for pockets. And basically what you do is you pop off his hands if you have hands on him, and this is how I have been posing him because it's really badass. And you just, I don't know if you can see this, but you just pull off the torso from the legs. It's pretty easy to do. Doesn't feel like it's gonna break anything, which is awesome. You just pull that off. You just take this, you just slip it on, line it up here, put Rorschach back together. Then you just take the pegs in the hands and you just, and you just put it in the little hand slots right here. They actually sculpted ends to his hands, which is cool. You just bend his arms here. It can be a little finicky to do, but once you get it in, it's no problem. I'll just do this quickly here. Ah, shit. There we go. And like so. You bastard, get in there. So, like I said, a bit finicky. Once you get it in, you pretty much got it. And then, when all is said and done, you have Rorschach with his hands in his pockets in the iconic sort of pose he's usually in when he's wandering around brooding with his hands in his pockets. I think that is an absolutely excellent accessory to include. I'm thrilled they include that accessory, and you can pull off that pose. It's one of the deciding factors of why I bought this figure, so I could have it Rorschach and pose him with his hands in the pockets. It looks so, so cool. Just absolutely awesome. Very, very happy with that. So overall, this is a really, really cool figure. I wasted enough time fawning on about it. He has minor issues with like articulation and whatever, but for the most part, he's an extremely well done figure. If you're a Watchmen fan, a Rorschach fan like I am, because he's probably my favorite character in the book, and I just love the book and the movie. This is a figure, and you're definitely going to want to have. It's just so good. I think it's definitely the best Rorschach figure out there currently. The only problem is availability. Just doing a little bit of research on myself. He's a bit pricey. I paid just over $100 for him, I think around 115, and that was with a $10 discount. He seems to be going for around, $150, $200. When I searched him up on eBay, I only got 3 results back, and they were like $200 over. So he's a bit pricey. He seems like he might be a bit harder to find. I'm not 100% sure when this figure actually came out. So you might have to do some searching and get a good deal. But if you can definitely get him for $150 or less, definitely, I think, highly recommend picking this guy up. Super, super cool figure. Probably one of my favorite figures I currently own, just in my collection and in its entirety. Just so, so cool. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it greatly. Let me know what you guys think of this guy in the comments below. And I will see you all in the next video.